This is John
and Anita
from Homestead Evolution. We're creating this video today with Homesteaders of America Grow Your Own Food collaboration. And today we're going to be talking about growing quail as a food source for meat and egg. Wherever you're at, basically, you can grow some food.
And we will be focusing on that Japanese Coturnix quail. Now, where can you source these birds? Go ahead, you talk about it.
So sourcing quail, the best way to source quail, basically social media. You can get on Google, so forth, Marketplace, do Facebook, social media. Just search Coturnix Quail for your local area and you'll see what pops up. That's the best way to source quail. If you're sourcing quail from outside your state, make sure they're NPIP because they need to be NPIP certified to ship birds and eggs across state line. The feed. So you made a determination you're going to buy some quail. Feed. You're going to look at, for starter, you're going to look at least 26 to 28% game bird starter. Once the bird starts laying an egg, you can transfer over to a grower, and that's usually 24 to 26%. You can do a game bird starter or a grower from your local feed or co-op store. If you have a mill close to you, we have one that's close to us that we go buy our grains from.
They do have a grower and it's geared towards the Coturnix quail, and yeah, we'll put a link to that down in the description because they do ship that.
They do ship Amazon
and it's
now.
It's a pretty reasonable price for non-GMO feed.
Yes. You can also add fodder. You can grow fodder. You can also do some mealworms. I just wouldn't go heavy on the mealworms. They're really high in protein. You start feeding too many mealworms to the quail, they're going to throw away the feed to get to the worm. Housing, battery cages. We grow in battery cages here. We build our own.
It takes a small footprint.
Small
you
footprint.
Can raise,
yes.
With the system that we have, you can raise 192 birds on a 2 foot by 4 foot floor footprint, 6 foot tall.
Yeah, I mean you can grow a lot of meat and produce eggs as well. You can have them in a hanging cage outside. You can put them in on rabbit hutches or make outdoor cages. There's some pros and cons to both. If you're growing outside, I would just compost underneath where the droppings are with sawdust, wood chips, hay.
Right.
Indoors, you have to have drop pans and you have to change it out. But that's fertilizer. It's for the garden.
Right.
And that's what we do.
And if some people prefer to raise directly on the ground, we don't recommend that because of the heavy poop load that they do have. However, if you would like to do them on the ground, we suggest that you use a chicken tractor for that and move it daily and try not to go over the same path for about a year.
Water. You can put them on a rabbit bottle. I've had them on a rabbit bottle before. We get 5-gallon buckets and we make our own watering system. There's plenty of tutorials out on YouTube. But food grade bucket, we've gotten ours from Walmart, the bakeries, all the grocery store, the bakeries. Some will sell it to you for $1, some will just give them away for free.
There are several watering systems that the watering cups that you can get if you wanted to do a watering system and not the bottles. We have both. We use the weighted cups out in our outside hutches, our grow up hutches. We use the weighted cups. As the water fills it, the weight of the water will shut it off. Now for our inside systems, we do use the ones with the little yellow plunger. What a lot of people seem to think is that it does not filled up. There's no water. There should not be any water in those cups. They will drop a droplet of water when they put their heads past the plunger. Or you can actually use just the bottle with the quail water base that you can get from Tractor Supply or your local feed store.
Hatching, these guys, it's fast. So 17 days to hatch, 6 weeks to maturity. So what maturity means is they become sexually mature to reproduce in 6 weeks. The breed that we have is called, excuse me.
The breed we have are Japanese Coturnix. The variety we have are Jumbo Meat Maker.
Right. They're feather sexable at 4 weeks. So what that means is you can look at the feathers on their chest and determine whether it's male or female. So at that point, you can decide, I've got way too many males, I'm gonna grow them up to eat, just keep a few for reproducing with some female hens.
You do need an incubator.
Yes.
These birds, they will brood them, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
If you don't have an incubator and you have hens that go
silky.
broody, silkies go broody all the time, you can throw them up underneath your hen and let them hatch them.
Yep.
They'll also raise them. Now, brooding, if you're hatching them in an incubator, what you need to do is brood them with a heat lamp. You want to take it over?
So brooding with a heat lamp, basically you're going to watch the chicks. The chicks are going to tell you whether they're hot or whether they're cold. If they start piling on together, they're too cold. They're going to start crushing the ones on the bottom. You drop the heat lamp, they'll spread out. If they halo too far out, you've dropped the light too far. So
And
they're hot. You don't really need the thermometer. You know, the bird is going to tell you
What it needs.
What it needs, basically.
By its reaction to that heat lamp,
Right.
you'll be able to read those chicks and tell what they need. There's no need to go buy a thermometer.
And you adjust and just take about 5 or 10 minutes and then come back and look at them again and just make your adjustments from there. We
Now,
have no problem.
A lot of people will run fluff, the wood chips,
Wood chips, yes.
in their brooders. We don't do that.
We run-
we prefer to do cracked corn.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, they can get a real good footing on the cracked corn. If they do spill water,
Because
which it wicks to the bottom of the brooder. It doesn't stay wet. Your chicks won't stay wet.
right.
That's one way that a chick will die, is if it gets wet.
Butchering. Butchering, when we butcher, we usually wait 10 to 12 weeks, preferably 12. I have several different grow out pens. So when I do a large hatch and I am segregating my coveys, so many females, so many males for reproducing eggs, I'll take whatever's left male wise and I'll grow them out. And I'll put all my males together. Some people say they fight. I've had 60, 70 males in one cage. They don't fight. We have a butcher video. We usually twist and pull to decapitation. It's a pretty cool
Cervical dislocation
dislocation.
is the most humane way
we've found.
to butcher a bird.
It's quick. There's not a lot of stress on the bird, and
They're actually calm
oh yeah,
before we do that. We'll hold them and love on them and rub them, and they'll be real calm. And then the next thing you know,
it's over.
it's over.
Yeah.
It's the quickest way. If you're using shears, which a lot of people will recommend, good pair of kitchen shears.
They get stressed when you
They will get
pull out.
stressed because you have to stretch their neck. If you don't get a good stretch on their neck, then your scissors don't cut and you've got a miss. That's not a good thing. So we just go with the cervical dislocation by dipping them in 150-degree water until the wing feathers pull out
Just like chicken.
easily. We happen to have a plucker, but you can hand pluck these birds real quickly.
Or de-skin. I actually like the de-skin method. Is cut the wings and the feet off, and then the breast just peels like a glove, and it just all comes off.
Right.
And I mean, it's literally done. You're de-skinned, and then we butterfly the back. We cut the spine out on both sides of the back.
Right.
Everything scoops out, and literally you're done. I
Right.
mean, it's everything.
So with these birds, as a food source, you get from an egg that you put under a hen or in the incubator to a chick in 17 days.
Yeah.
These will be laying eggs at 6 weeks, but they're all dark meat, and the egg benefits are astronomical.
Yeah. One of the things we're going to put out there is if you Google the farm, AJ Farms LLC, you'll get our address. We have rack cards, and we have two. We have the benefits of quail eggs, and we have hatching eggs, what to do when you get your hatching eggs. If you send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to our farm, I will send you these for free. And it'll give you some tips to get started as far as hatching, what to do when they're brooding, your fertilization rate, and so forth like that, when to open the incubator. It's just a little nice piece of information. And as far as the benefits for quail eggs, it's just a small blurb on the back, but
Right.
it gets you started. But I definitely encourage everybody to go to USDA.gov and compare a chicken egg versus a quail egg. It's astronomical. It's the benefits. It should be classified, in my opinion, as a superfood because of all the benefits and the proteins. Oh my gosh, and the minerals and the vitamins that it has just blows away everything else. So you can do this. It's not hard. Like I said, we have our racks. We just went to the big box stores and pretty much got our rack and built our rack.
Built our cages to fit the rack.
The rack. And
you can do it on a small scale, you can do it on a large scale.
We've done them on shoe racks before for the conference that'll house about 12 birds, with a 3-gallon bucket of water as a water source. You can go large, and then you can go large to like a 6-foot, and it holds 192 birds. If you put 192 hens in that one system, you're gonna have a lot of eggs, a lot of protein on a small footprint.
Right.
And if you do it inside, nobody really knows you have it, to be honest with you, because you're inside.
It's something you can do on a back porch, on a patio, on a balcony,
small building,
or in a small building like we do on your back porch. We can raise these birds for meat and eggs anywhere.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an alternative source. Everybody says it's small, and it is small, but it's a fast-growing protein source. You can hatch out a couple hundred, butcher them all, stick them in the freezer. Just keep 20 or 30 hens, and I had 20 or 30 eggs a day. And we're going to put some links to the Homesteaders of America Grow Your Own Food collaboration, and that's what this is part of. We want to put this information out there to encourage you that you can grow your own food on a small footprint. You can go as big or as small as you want, per whatever your needs are as a family. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to go out and buy $700-800 cages. You can do this with some of the stuff that you find local.
Right.
Whether it be Facebook.
Build a wire cage.
Yeah.
Hang it.
Yeah. It's not hard.
Under a cupboard. Anything.
Yeah. And
these birds are also what we did leave out. These birds can handle sub-zero temperatures as long as they can get out of the elements.
So box.
Like a nesting box on a rabbit hutch.
Yes.
As long as they can get out of the elements, you have to make sure you can keep their water water thawed.
And if you don't, change it periodically throughout the day. That's why they do so well either on a back porch, in a small building. At one time when we were growing for ourselves, we had them in a small metal building, and I just put a brooding light just on the water, just to keep the water from freezing.
Right.
But it was still cold out there, but they were out of the wind. They did fine.
Yeah, we never even closed the door on it.
Yeah, and we had like 60-70 birds out there growing. We appreciate you watching. Definitely continue to check out other links from the Homesteaders of America Grow Your Own Food series that people are putting out there. It's a lot of good information for you. The biggest thing is don't be scared. You can do this. You can go small and incrementally go larger as you need it. So check out other videos. You can definitely check out videos that we have listed, and we have a whole lot more things that we do besides just quail. The quail is the business side of our homestead. So that's why the farm is called AJ Farms. That deals strictly with the quail. But Homestead Evolution is how we live every day. If the business was to dissolve today or go out of business, we would still continue to live this way every day. And that's just our life. Whether we make bread, can, grow our own food, this is just one aspect of it that has turned into a business for us. And we share this business with you all, that you can grow quail on a small footprint, have a good protein source that's healthy for you, that's easy to take care of, and it's easy to butcher.
Okay,
That's about it.
that's about it. All right, we'll see y'all later.
Have a good
Y'all
one.
have a good one.